In the know, non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
And away we go.
Gentlemen, the time has come. We did this, I think, 3 times last offseason between January and free agency, where we took over the Vikings front office and we mapped out their entire offseason as specifically as we could with cap space, free agency, and a draft simulation. And Judd's handwritten notes. Look at those glorious pieces of paper. Highlighted names.
I was studying for the exam at the Wild game last night. Studying for the exam.
You're just under your breath muttering, bleeping boldy, and then you're just writing off also Vikings notes at the same time.
I love how you put a Judd's just a selfie video out on Score North social media last night, just going over the Wild game. And the first comment was, nobody cares about the Wild right now.
Yes, I know. No, the first one was spot on. The second one was nobody cares. That's all it said. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. You can find Judd's Hockey Show, though, which is one of the top 30 hockey podcasts in America. Judd's Hockey Show, Apple, Spotify, Score North YouTube channel. But we have 3 chunks of this episode. We've got the cap space chunk. We've got the free agency, both internal guys leaving. Do you want to bring them back? And we'll get into a little bit of external free agency. We'll do deeper dives into that as we get closer to March. And then we will do a mock draft simulation here with the PFF mock simulator. Today's episode presented by Quick Trip, as always, and our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. So Federated, which was actually recently named one of the 10 best employers in Minnesota by Forbes. So if you're looking to change your career path, this might be a great opportunity for you. They're also just a great partner if you are a business owner. Their corporate culture is grounded in equity, integrity, teamwork, and respect. And these 4 cornerstones create the foundation that supports all interactions and decision-making at Federated. 100+ years of experience elevating businesses through risk management. FederatedInsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. Okay. Oh, so excited. Let's start with just sort of laying out their current situation of outgoing players here, and then we can get into how to clear more cap space, and then we'll get into free agency, okay? So the Vikings have, by my calculation, 8 starting players out of 22 that are free agents going into this offseason. Kirk Cousins is a free agent. Dalton Risner is a free agent. And KJ Osborne, who's a starter when they run 11 personnel, is a free agent. So that's 3 on the offensive side. On the defensive side, Danielle Hunter, DJ Wanham, Jordan Hicks, Marcus Davenport was a starter for a few games. He was supposed to be a starter.
Yep.
And then Jonathan Bullard started 14 games for you on the defensive line, played like 650 snaps. Wasn't like a Pro Bowler or anything, but he is a starting player for you. So you have eight starting players are hitting free agency. So you have to account for that when you also look at their cap situation. And we're getting these numbers from overthecap.com, by the way. We're just going to we're not capologists here. Maybe we can get Rob Brzezinski on sometime, but we're going to reference the over the cap.
Don't count on that.
Framework. Yeah, doesn't do a lot of media.
No.
So according to Over the Cap, the Vikings have $37 million in cap space, but only $23 million in what's called effective cap space. I'm going to try to explain that in the way that I understand it, which is the NFL salary cap accounts for your top 51 players. You can carry like 90 guys in the offseason, 53-man roster and practice squad. They take your top 51 players, and you have to be under the salary cap number with those top 51 players. Well, the Vikings only have 39 players under contract right now for 2024. So, yeah, they have $37 million in cap space, but you have to fill out 12 more roster spots to get to the 51 with at least minimum wage players at the very least, right? So you don't really have $37 million. You actually have like $23 million in effective cap space. Hopefully that makes sense. The salary cap is projected to fall somewhere between $240 and $250 million this year. Over the Cap has it at like $249. Again, we're going to go off their projection. So right now, the Vikings, as of today, have $50 million, which is like 20% of the salary cap, tied up in Kirk Cousins, Danielle Hunter, and Marcus Davenport, who are not under contract. Those are void years and dead cap money. So 1/5 of their cap is tied up in guys that aren't currently under contract. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things to kind of clear up here. The first question for you guys is, how can we clear more cap space before even deciding to bring Cousins back and Hunter back? Of the guys that are currently on the roster, how do we go from $23 million in cap space to more than $23 million in cap space? There's a Jefferson extension that could help you, like maybe lower the number in the short term. Obviously, you'd be pouring into future years. Harrison Smith is the biggest chunk that you could take from. He's 35 years old. His cap hit is $19 million. Beyond that, it's not like previous years where you're looking up and down. You're like, oh yeah, we can get rid of Dalvin and Kendricks and Thielen. They've kind of already done the bulk of that house cleaning. Yeah. So Judd, where do you want to start in terms of clearing more cap space?
Well, I want to start with a conversation that our once friend of the AM radio show would be very proud of, because we're about to, as we record this at 11:26 in the morning, we're about to eat difficult conversations for breakfast. I was coming up with a list last night. I've got them here. I've deemed them internal cuts.
Wow.
And these aren't necessarily.
You're cutting. You're just cutting.
Well, I'm throwing this out to the room. We're
skipping restructures. There's really not many restructure.
Well, there's not a lot of restructures here. Yeah. That's the problem. So these are internal moves, okay? And I'm going to throw these out to you guys, and let's see if we can come to a consensus. It's 3, so at least 2.
This is a war room. This is a war room right now.
I would like some takeout and like some fancy Fiji water if we were in a boardroom right now. But that's just a me thing. That's just how I would go about this.
You want some sweet green or just Chinese food?
Chinese. Give me some nice Chinese. I
like a buffet spread or like brought in your own platter thing.
Like a good spread of awesome takeout food. Even like, I love Chinese, but like Chinese is probably,
I'll put you to sleep after the first section of this conversation.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so can we all agree that Harrison Smith, as Phil just said, is the obvious one to go? I'd restructure. I guess I'd restructure him if you guys think that we should. Personally, I would like to just say, you know what? It's been a great career here, dude. You've been fantastic. Your play is dipping. You're 35. Quite frankly, if you retire, we'd appreciate it. But the savings are enormous there.
Well, let's dive into Harrison Smith. So there's no guaranteed money left on his contract length is like 2 or 3 more years, but there's no guaranteed money left on his deal. So the Vikings could do what they did last year, which is come to him with hey, you want some guaranteed money? We'll give you some guaranteed money. It's not going to be as much as, like the $19 million cap hit. I would say in terms of depth behind Harrison Smith or around him, Cam Bynum, I think, is the best safety on this team. He plays back, he plays more of that sort of free safety spot than the other safeties on the team.
Right.
Josh Metellus is technically a safety, but he's such a hybrid kind of linebacker roving around. He's doing different things than Cam Bynum and Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith fills big shoes in this defense. So if Lewis Seam was ready to rock and roll, this would be the easiest decision ever, right? Hey, man, Harry, we love you, but is Jay Ward ready to step in? Or do you get rid of Harrison Smith and now you have to spend money on someone in free agency? Because that's what I think where I'm at with this is if he wants to come back, if you cut him, you save $11 million, which is a nice chunk, and you could probably sign someone for less. Or if you trade him too, right? If you ask him to take the same amount of money as he made last year, or maybe a little bit less, you could save like $7 or $8 million to that $19 million cap hit. I think I want him on the team if he wants to play. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Where are you guys at?
My whole thing here is this. If I cut him and I save $11.4 million to the cap, I do take on 7.8 in dead cap hit. I would like to allocate that 11.4 elsewhere to a position that I want to pay more. Like your cornerback position right now, and we'll get to this, is a mess. Like
so you want to cut him.
So I would like to save that entire chunk of change and actually
say it. I want to cut Harrison Smith.
Oh, yeah.
A legendary Minnesota Viking.
And you know what? If he retires, here's the agreement. If he retires, I am willing to, in fact, get marketing in here right now because we're going to put Harrison Smith in the Ring of Honor next year. We're going to put him in the Ring of Honor immediately. I don't know if there's a supposed wait period, but we're going to waive that. Harrison, if you retire, we're going to bring you back. Yeah. We're going to give you a small plane because you love to fly. That's good. That's a very expensive gift, which by the way is not on the cap. And yes, I would like to cut Harrison Smith and allocate $11.4 million elsewhere.
Okay. You could trade him and save the 11.4 if somebody would float you a 5th or a 6th for Harrison. I don't know if that's going to happen though.
I don't think at that advanced stage. Sorry.
Yeah, here's a PJ and here is your PJ cutting check. You say goodbye. Goodbye.
Wow.
I cut him. It's time. Just goodbye. No problem.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm still clinging to the past. I'm clinging to him. He was the one guy I fought for last year too. I was like, you need a leader on this defense. But hey, this is how this works. We're trying to come to agreements, and you guys feel strongly. So we're gonna cut Harrison Smith, and then immediately bring him back and put him in the Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. I'm putting him in the Ring of Honor. Nobody went in this year. It's going to be a very special year in 2024.
So we're cutting Harry. I'm gonna make notes here too. And so now we are at that would put us at just under, let's take 35 million in space. Okay. Let's talk about Justin Jefferson for a second here, because he's the next most interesting one. So I went to the Nick Bosa contract as kind of a comp because is it pretty fair to say that Nick Bosa is the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL? That if you're Justin Jefferson and the agent, you're looking to be the highest paid non-quarterback. Does anyone want to fight that take? We don't know for sure, but
no, I've been saying it, so I don't want to fight it.
So that would be a 5-year contract, and I'm just kind of going up a little bit from all of the Nick Bosa measurables here on the contract. So it'd be 5 years, starting in 2025. The structure of the contract,
right?
$35 million a year. Bosa's like 34, I want to say. So 5 years, $175 million, with a $50 million signing bonus and $125 million guaranteed if he were to surpass the Nick Bosa benchmarks.
Yep.
Now, Bosa's cap hit in the first year of that deal, which I don't know if that was his 5th year option year or not, but they because we're creating like 5 years of runway here, massive signing bonus that you can prorate and spread out over the length of the contract. Bosa's cap hit in year 1 of that deal this year was only $11 million because they said, hey, we're going to give you a $50 million or whatever it was, $40 million signing bonus. You get that right now. You don't need a base salary of 30 in your first year. So they take the base salary way down. So anyways, if Jefferson and the Vikings agreed to this type of a contract, the cap hit would probably go from like 20 million to maybe like 12 or 15 million dollars in 2024, and then it would go up a lot more in the years that follow.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys want to do a Justin Jefferson extension is the first question here.
Yes. And if I'm going to keep him, I have to, because he's not showing up unless I do. So yes, I do.
As opposed to like a trade, though, I guess would be the other option.
I feel like that's a whole nother question here.
We might have to do that. We should do that episode at some point and then do this exercise after we've kind of had that longer discussion.
As of now, let's just say I think Declan and I agree extension.
Okay. So we're gonna extend, and again, we're just kind of estimating on some of we don't know what the exact structure is going to be, but I'm going to say for 2024, the Vikings, Bosa's cap hit was only 11. Let's say JJ's is $12 million. So you'd save then from the 20 million cap hit down to 12 for this year. And again, it would go way up starting in 2025. That you would save $8 million in 2024 cap space. So that brings us to $43 million in effective cap space. A few other players to look at here. So like Harrison Phillips has 1 year left. You could cut him and save $6.5 million. You also barely have any credible defensive linemen and edge rushers.
I think I want to compliment him and get him more into a position. Like he is a solid player. I don't think he's a star or even close.
Yeah.
But I think he's also being asked to do way too much. So
yeah, and they've got him kind of they can't decide. Like, I don't know, is he more of like an A gap or a B gap? They've got him kind of doing a couple different things here this year.
Right.
So I'm with you. I think you just keep him. I would even maybe look to like put another year on his contract. You could actually save that way too if you wanted to.
I thought about that. I do not want to cut him.
And like if you look at the other defensive linemen that are under contract, so Jonathan Bullard's a free agent, and he's also just kind of a guy. Dean Lowry is a guy. Jaquelin Roy, is he ready to jump in?
You might have to. You legitimately, you might have to put him in.
Yeah. So by the way, Harrison Phillips has no guaranteed money left on his contract for 2024. So it would make sense maybe to redo it a little bit.
I like your idea. Yes.
Put another year on that contract. You can even bring that number down.
Definitely
But
I like that.
we'll keep him and we'll leave the number. Okay, some other guys here. I'm going to give you a list. You tell me if anyone stands out to say goodbye to or otherwise. Byron Murphy Jr., if you cut him, you'd save $4.6 million. Garrett Bradbury, if you cut him, you'd save $2.5 million. So not a lot of savings here, but
Right.
Dean Lowry, you can cut, save 2.2. Nick Mullens, you could cut, save 1.9. Now we're getting into like minimum wage. Like if you're cutting a guy that makes 1.9, you would sign a player that makes $1 million anyway. So CJ Ham, you could cut, save 1.7. Patrick Jones, you could cut, save 1.3.
CJ Ham, don't even bring his name up in this building, damn it. CJ Ham is a lifetime Viking.
Would you look to move on from any of these guys and save $2-4 million here and there?
Well, I think I'm going in a different direction with my backup QB. Like, I don't need to see more of Nick as a backup, a starter, or a ball boy. So I'm going to move on from him, not based on like I'm saving
backup quarterback though.
Yeah, he is, but I'm going to move on from him. Patrick Jones. Now I know that's again not huge savings, but that's a Spielman draft pick, and I just don't know, has he worked? Like I had great hope for him, and he certainly looks the part of a guy that should be able to not be Danielle, but but be in a bracket of he can really rush the quarterback, and I don't think that you get a lot. The other cheap one I'm cutting is, or where I'm going elsewhere, is punter Ryan Wright. I saw enough this season.
Okay.
I saw enough this season. And again, that's a cap savings of $985,000, so approximately $1 million.
It's not really though, because you're going to sign a punter that makes.
Yeah.
You're just
right.
That
but I mean, I'm moving on
cap.
from him. Yeah, I'm moving on from him as well.
Okay.
The issue I found too that's unfortunate is because of their contracts, it really doesn't make sense to move on from Scene or Booth.
No, because you're not saving money.
You're saving nothing.
Yeah. So I'll make note. I agree. Ryan Wright, he's actually not one of the top 20 punters in the NFL. It doesn't really impact your cap situation because again, you'd be replacing him.
Too.
Yeah, but we'll make note of Ryan Wright here. Patrick Jones is another one where it's like you're saving 1.3, but not really, because again, a minimum wage player would come in and still make like 900,000 or $1 million. But I would say this: Dean Lowry at 2.2 million in savings, that's a no-brainer, right? He was your one of the worst graded defensive players on the team last year.
Yeah, he's gone. That didn't work out.
So cut Dean Lowry.
Yep.
That equals, now we're up to 45 million.
Yep.
Okay, Dex, on Nick Mullens. Judd's cutting him.
Yep.
Would you cut Nick Mullens?
I'd bring him back. I'd bring him back on a minimum deal, especially. I just think he's a fine guy to have in the room. And I also, in a spot start situation, he's fine. I'm not going to go to bat for him. I'm not going to go to war for him. But if you want me to be the deciding factor, I'd bring him back. The cut candidate here of the players you've listed that I would consider is Bradbury. I would cut Garrett Bradbury.
So a couple things. I'm with Dex on Mullens. He's a backup quarterback who can throw for 350 yards, by the way.
That's how this room works, okay? I'm moving on already.
And he's only making 1.9. You could cut him later if you needed to.
Sure.
Okay, Garrett Bradbury. Took a little bit of a step back. There's always injury issues there, but here's the problem. Again, if you cut him,
it's not going to help.
You don't need you need a starting center.
Yeah.
And you only save $2.5 million to the cap. Like the way they structured that contract, it's not. If you could save $10 million, oh my God, move on in a heartbeat. But if you cut Garrett Bradbury, who is your starting center? Austin Schlottmann's a free agent. You literally don't have a center on your team.
And according to my Zolgadian notes, you also take on a $3.3 million dead money hit from cutting him.
Yeah, and by the way, that is accounted for in this. Like the net would be a savings of 2.2, but the sunk cost would still be the 3 point whatever. So yeah.
So like, are you going to do that? Because I thought that's the same thing. The two guys that intrigued me as far as like significant cuts were Bradbury and potentially if you felt that you could upgrade Byron Murphy Jr. But I looked at that one too. And you save some, but you don't like it's
you save
not
$4.5. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
You're not finding a starting cornerback for $4.5 million on the market.
So I'm not going to cut. So despite the fact that he is a $10.25 million cap charge, which I don't love, I'm not cutting him.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of like I'm with Declan in that. Boy, it'd be great to find a better starting center, but I'm with Judd in that. You could bring Bradbury back. Draft a center in the 5th round or something. So I'm aligning with Judd on that. We're gonna save Garrett Bradbury's job.
Again, all we do is keep saving his job or the Vikings.
And then CJ Ham. They're probably gonna bring him back, right?
What's the savings again?
1.7.
That's not enough to.
I think you just kind of leave these. Some of these are like we're literally talking about. We have $45 million in cap space, and we're haggling over like Patrick Jones.
We're nickel and diming ourselves right now. Yeah,
but that's it. They don't have a lot of contracts to tap. So, okay, phase 2, free agency. We're gonna talk about Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter first and foremost here. But let's shout out our friends over at Nutrisource here, boys. In fact, I heard some rustling from outside the studio door. I think someone named Maya Mackey is going to be ready for her Nutrisource chicken and rice. In fact, she's got one more scoop left, so I got to go. Dad has to go to Chuck and Don's and get some more for her later today.
And I will see you there because I have to do the exact same thing for that little girl, Stella, right there, who during our
would you avoid
session,
me if you saw me in Chuck and Don's?
Well, if I saw you walking at me down the aisle, no. But if I saw you in the next aisle and you didn't see me, absolutely. Absolutely, I would. But anyway, short story, during the scoop, that little girl was barking up a storm because she wanted her Nutrisource.
Yep, same with the Vinster. Vinster had to go to Grandma's yesterday for a little bit. We had some schedule conflicts here in the house, so he gets to go to Grandma's. It's actually best because, obviously, as you guys know, Grandmas just spoil their grandbabies, whether they're fur babies or real babies. So Vinny just goes to the Nutrisource bag of treats, and he's all set.
Yeah, Nutrisource is the official dog and pet food here of Purple Daily and Score North. NutrisourcePetFoods.com to find a retailer somewhere near you. Also, hey, get those carpets clean. How long has it been since you've cleaned your dirty, disgusting carpets, your air ducts, breathing in all that, the dust mites?
I love that idea.
Oh. Zero Res is here with a 4.9 out of 5-star rating on Google with 17,000 reviews. If you ask for the Score North special, you can get 3 rooms zero resified starting at just $119 and $75 off getting your air ducts cleaned. Say you want the Score North special when you call 952-0RES or ZeroResMinnesota.com. Spell it forward or backwards, it spells the same. Zero Res. Okay. Section 2. We've created some cap space. We also, by cutting Harrison Smith, we also have opened up the need for another safety. So whether it's maybe this is sink or swim for Lewis Cine, we'll figure it out. But internal free agents. So Kirk Cousins is the biggest one. The PFF projection for him is 2 years, $60 million, so $30 million a year, and $37.5 million total guaranteed. So it'd be like the first year fully guaranteed, then like some money guaranteed kind of in that second year. If he signed that contract, it would rank 17th in average annual value, which is much more reasonable than his previous contracts, right?
Very fair contract. Yes.
Yep. And for all the people saying, he's only the 15th highest paid quarterback last year. No, he got his bag, and the Vikings, from an accounting standpoint, said, let's chop 60% of it off and shove it into a year in which he's not under contract. Right. So he's always been a top 3 or top 5 cap hit unless they shove money into the future, and that's why they're in the situation they are in right now. So you can manipulate this contract any number of different ways. But no matter how you do it, because that money, the void money is still, you still have to spread that out, even if you bring him back. That money doesn't go away.
Right.
You can prorate it, and now we're getting way in the weeds here. But moral of the story is, if you bring Kirk Cousins back on a 2-year, $60 million contract, you're probably looking at like a $35 million cap hit. So your cap would his number would increase from 28 million to 35 million, and that's even if you like finagle it with an extra void year or something. It's an estimate, but would you bring Kirk back 2 years, $60 million?
If I thought I was in the thick of a window in which we were going great guns, and I thought Kirk is the best fit for my Super Bowl team, absolutely, I would. In the Vikings' current predicament, and you're going to see, not surprisingly, a trend, at least from me, of trying to move on. Harrison Smith, great Viking. Yeah. Love you, dude. See you later. Bye. So, no, I would not. I'm looking, and just to be very clear, I think the Vikings might completely disagree with this, but if I am in charge, which right now the three of us are, I am looking to move on. I am looking not only for a rookie contract quarterback, but also for a quarterback that is now my quarterback of the future. So, no, in this discussion where it's black and white, I am going to allow Kirk to explore free agency. Thank you very much. You've been great. Fantastic. Enjoy your Kohl's cash, and we'll see you later.
Dex.
I say goodbye. I understand that there's still a big dead money cap hit of him not playing for you, or regardless, if you want to manipulate that into your actual cap hit to playing for him or the contract for the new one that he'll get. I get it. I say goodbye at this point. So goodbye.
Well, it doesn't matter what I say. Now the audience is never going to know what I think about this subject because you guys just won 2 out of 3. I was going to give him 10 years, but looks like I got strong-armed in this war room.
You were going to give him 13 years, $98 million to put him in line with Parisian Suitor.
I think what we can do, too, is because we'll do more of these exercises. For this one, we'll say goodbye. Maybe for another one in the future, we can say, for like Kirk, we're going to start this one out and we're going to bring Kirk back and then work the rest of the offseason around that.
Sure.
But for this one, we're going to say we're going to bid adieu. We can't find a term that works for Kirk, and for the Vikings, we're going to say goodbye. So the Vikings would still be on the hook for $28 million in cap hit. That has been accounted for already. So by saying goodbye to Kirk Cousins, we're still at $45 million in cap space, okay? Danielle Hunter, PFF projected contract. He'll be 29 years old for this upcoming season. PFF projects 3 years, $65 million. So just under $22 million a year, which makes him a top 10 paid edge rusher between like 6th and 10th. $37.5 million $40 million guaranteed. You also you have money on the books for him from void years too that still has to be swallowed up in this structure. So I think what would happen here is if you did this deal with Hunter by over the cap, in my estimation, you'd have a $26 million cap hit around there. That's also kind of like there's some comparables like Bradley Chubb's contract, Montez Sweat's contract. You can kind of use some framework. So you'd be increasing Danielle Hunter's cap hit by $12 million from 14 to like 26 million.
Right.
But you'd have him locked in for at least a couple of years. Are you in or out on Danielle Hunter on this contract?
Go ahead, Dex. You go first this time.
I'm in. I think I'm in just because there's such uncertainty, and you can't just completely restart that edge room with rookies, or like you can maybe get creative with some like random bet minimum guys or guys that are, kind of near or over the hill, and you can obviously save a ton of money doing that. But I think I have to bring back the linchpin on this defense, so I sign him to this contract. Yes.
Great word.
Linchpin?
Yeah, I love that word. So the age does scare me a little bit here. Like he's not young, so this is not a slam dunk. Oh, he's 25, of course. What are you talking about? And as much as I am not trying to focus on, is this team going to win a Super Bowl in 2024? Because I don't believe that that's the case. I do believe that there needs to be a reset here. Danielle Hunter, 16 and a half sacks. I think with the contract that PFF gave, yes, I'm in. I'm in now. If the Hunter camp's like, oh no, we're going top 5. We want to approach the highest paid defensive end. I don't think I can probably stomach that. But with the contract that you gave, yes or no, my answer is yes. I'm in.
Yeah, I think I'm in on this too. Also, to me, the biggest mistake would be not trading him a few months ago when you could have, letting him walk and go somewhere else. At the very least, you at least get to continue on with the asset, right? They talk about asset management. I'm okay overpaying a little bit here because I still get his production. I'm still trying to be competitive. I don't think anyone here is looking for, like, maybe Judd is, an abject, complete tank job in 2000. If you can get your quarterback in this year's draft, which now we just said goodbye to Cousins, right? You could draft your quarterback and now start trying to generate winning culture going forward with your new quarterback. I want Danielle Hunter to be a part of that. And after 1 year, if it just doesn't make sense anymore, okay, trade him for a 3rd-round pick, and now you're at least getting something for him as opposed to letting him walk, right? So I'm in on this.
Yes.
So again, this is just sort of like rough estimation, but now we go from $45 million in cap space to $33 million for 2024, but we get Danielle Hunter back.
And most definitely no trade clause.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. Yeah,
you're right about that. That's a sticking point for me personally. I hate those.
Can I unilaterally just? I guess it's a war room, so I'll throw it out there. I want Brandon Powell back at $1.5 million. He made like $1 million last year. Can we just bring Brandon? Like, KJ's a free agent.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fight you
on it. Yeah,
okay, fine. Brandon Powell, punt returner. He's fine. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay, just gonna add that in.
Just not a tush pusher.
Yeah, leave him out of the tush push.
Don't tush push.
Okay, so $31 million. Okay, other internal free agents.
Yep.
Dalton Risner projected $8 million a year. I'll throw the other names out. You tell me. All right. KJ Osborne, free agent. Greg Joseph, or any kicker for $2 to $3 million. Cam Akers off another Achilles.
Yeah.
They've got. I will say this. They're losing some key backup offensive linemen like Schlottman, Quessenberry, but those guys. Let's just say those guys all make like $1 million. Yeah. That they'll find another Quessenberry or somebody, right?
Or they'll come back.
Yep.
Accounting wise, it's easy to do.
DJ Wanham, Jordan Hicks, Marcus Davenport.
So
any of these guys, do you want to bring back any of these guys?
I'm intrigued by what Wanham did. The quadricep scares me, but I also think the fact that he tore his quadricep is going to make him more of a bargain, unfortunately for him. So if he is willing to sign on my terms, then I'm bringing him back.
Wanham's
but
coming
it's
back.
not going to be expensive. As far as I'm concerned, KJ Osborne is gone. Jordan Hicks, a conversation, because he was a key part of this defense. He's 32, but according to my notes, he played for $5 million last season on a pay cut already. So he's not that expensive. So I think at the right price, the one I'd like to talk about is Dalton Risner, okay? Because when we get to the potential for outside free agents, good old Zolgad for about the 5th consecutive year has his eye on a guard, on upgraded guard.
Me too. Old Macadac feels the same way.
Okay, well we've been on
this.
We've been on that train, Phil, for about 5 or 6 years because look, Declan was pro cutting Bradbury, and I totally get his point there.
Yeah.
And if the savings was huge, I would probably. But the reality is, okay, we've agreed to bring Bradbury back. So what can we do? What can we do to help this line? And in my opinion, you got your tackle set, a studded guard.
Risner can pass protect a little bit, but PFF did not like him. There's better players. I'm with you on that. I probably say goodbye to Dalton Risner. KJ Osborne, I say goodbye to. DJ Wanham, we can bring DJ Wanham back for, I don't know what, $3 million? Somewhere in there.
Expensive.
Like kind of like Dean Lowry money. Let's call it like $2-3 million.
Okay.
So we're gonna re-sign Wanham. So that brings us down to, let's say, $29 million in cap space. Dex, are you fighting for Risner or no?
Yeah, I am fighting for Risner, actually.
I think you lost either way, but we'll give you a chance to fight for him.
Go ahead and fight.
I know the majority rules. I don't get it. Okay. But no, I would bring back Risner. At the very least, $8 million. I have trepidation at $8 million. But the dude was also not signed until October, so I think I can get him for half of that. Personally,
Ooh.
No,
and
no. Well, PFF is saying it's $8 million. Like that's, I mean, you can fight PFF Brad if you want to, but
yes,
PFF is saying his projected contract is $8 million.
For sure.
At 8, are you going to bring him back?
No, I would not bring him back at 8. I would
Then
not
we're
bring
on
him
the
back
same
at
page.
8. But I
Okay.
would bring him back. I
Sure.
would 100%.
I'd bring
him
Kirk back at 8. Can we do
Yeah,
that?
I was going to say. Yeah.
If we could just do like,
Hey, Danielle, will you take $12?
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that's
no
the thing.
problem.
Like
Okay.
Risner's weird because why didn't he get signed? I don't know, but
Well, the one thing is, Phil, though, from the day that we started talking about the potential of him joining the Vikings, PFF said, what? Good in pass protection, right?
and bad in the
Can't
run game.
block.
And
And that's
kinda
what he
happened.
is.
Yep.
Yep.
Jordan Hicks by anyone else here? I think Davenport by, right? Jonathan Bullard. I know he played 600 snaps. Whatever. He's just kind of a guy. So that brings us to external free agents. We'll do a full episode on these options here, but let's just talk more like positions of need. So we have $29 million in cap space to play with. And you can manipulate, obviously, you sign a guy to a 3-year deal. You can do a signing bonus and shove money into the future. So we're going to go off PFF projected contracts. But I think we're still looking for defensive line edge rusher help in some capacity. Could also address that in the draft. Maybe looking for a veteran linebacker, someone to step in. I mean, Ivan Pace and Troy Dye. I think Troy Dye might be a free agent too, actually.
He is.
So you definitely need linebacker depth. And then starting left guard. I'm going to give you just a few samplings of kind of what's out there. So there's actually some pass rush specialists like Bryce Huff from the Jets, Jonathan Greenard from the Texans. We're talking $13 to $15 million a year for those kind of pass rush specialist guys, those edges. And by the way, I went through the PFF top 100 list, and I'm looking at players who are around 26 to 28 who are coming off their first contract. If you're saying goodbye to Cousins, I don't know that you're signing like 31-year-old free agents to you're looking for like those 26, 27-year-old guys like Byron Murphy, Josh Oliver, Harrison Phillips when they brought him in, right? Interior defensive lineman who's a great pass rusher, Justin Madubuike, 26 years old from the Ravens, 14 sacks from the interior, projected to make $23 million a year on a 4-year, $92 million contract. There's a couple guards out there. Kevin Dotson, who was with the Rams last year after 3 years in Pittsburgh, and so Sean McVay actually, according to PFF, reinvented his offense and his running game from a wide zone attack, football sounder, to a heavy gap scheme. Okay, so McVay said we got to change something in the run game. I wonder if Kevin O'Connell could go in a different direction schematically too. But Kevin Dotson is 28 years old, coming from the Rams. He didn't play there when O'Connell was there, but projected to make $17 million a year on a free agent deal. So you'd be, but you know what? I'd rather overpay for a really good guard in free agency than like overpay for a one-dimensional edge rusher. I'd rather find an edge rusher in the first or second round to play alongside Danielle Hunter. I think free agency, you can overpay for non-premium positions a little bit.
Yep.
You know?
Well, and
So-
in our world too, if we're keeping Danielle, if we keep him, then yes, I think it's important. But it's not, if he leaves now, you're sort of panicked, right? And I just like the fact that this team is, the one thing this team has drafted offensive line high. They have worked to try and fix this. But the one thing I go back to is, and Phil, I think we have seriously discussed this for like 5 years, if not more. A free agent guard to me,
Yeah.
just a professional guard who's good and can solidify the interior, because the tackles are great. Like, you don't have a problem there, but
There's a
the
couple
interior-
guys, and we can, again, we'll do a deeper dive into actual names, but like between Kevin Dotson, there's a Robert Hunt, more of a right guard with Miami, 28 years old.
I'm gonna have my notes.
It'd be like $17 million a year. The first year cap hit would probably be like $12 million because you'd signing bonus and shove money into the future. Dex, speak up here too, but like I sign a guard and I help fix this offensive line for a rookie quarterback coming in too with a chunk of this money. 12 million of the 29 million.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I think if you can get the right guard and it can upgrade your line, you do it. That's where, for me, it's drafting a rookie center, because I think a rookie center in the third round is going to be better than Garrett Bradbury and making less money. So this is more splitting hairs of you guys saying guard, I say center. So I am fine with the idea of potentially paying a guard maybe a little bit more over the market value in free agency, but I'm okay with that. I can sign off on that.
Couple other things. So I'm going to earmark guard at 12 million cap hit, 17 million per year, 12 million cap hit, which brings us down to 17 million in cap space for this year. There's Alexander Madison is under contract, ironclad, Ty Chandler, so it's tough, but there's a lot of running backs in free agency too. Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, all between $7 and $13 million a year, according to Pro Football Focus. Any interest in an established running back?
No, zero. Oh, yeah. I'm sitting down with my head coach and I'm saying, okay, let's watch Ty Chandler film. Tell me what you don't like. We're going to fix that, and he's going to play.
Yeah.
The Ty Chandler thing drove me crazy. I'm sorry.
He should be your starting running back next year.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend money on that spot, especially with a veteran, because the wear and tear, it's like a used car, right? Like the running back's been driven off the lot. It's not worth as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The one that would interest me, I know that he kind of fell off a little bit this year when Zeke Elliott left. I mean, Tony Pollard can still play probably more than the narrative.
Yeah.
But you'd be talking about $8 million a year, and now I don't know.
But where's the lease option on the running back? Where's the new league that I can return after 3 years and 30,000 miles? Okay,
yeah.
That's the option.
That's why they hate guys like you.
God, come on.
Yeah, it's tough. Okay, can I go back? They need defensive line help big time. So whether it's a Madubuike or one of these sort of edge rushing specialists, I mean, Danielle Hunter is the only legitimate pass rusher that the Vikings have. They need somebody else. So whether it's an interior guy or an edge guy, they're all kind of between 13 and 23 million a year. Can I earmark in terms of cap hit, because the cap hit would be lower in the first year than the average annual value. What if I earmarked $12 million for a free agent defensive front player?
So we're talking about a potential big nose tackle?
Another edge. Well, no, there's not that many big nose tackles in free agency, and if there are, it wouldn't cost this much money. There are pass rushers.
Okay.
There's a couple guys who are over 30 that, and we can go through this list later.
Yep.
This is right. Let's not get into the specifics of it. Defensive line or edge help.
Yes.
Earmarked for $12 million.
Yeah, I think you have to. Whether that's in one player or two, you have to at this point. So yes, I think you have to find it. And I would, to Judd's point, I would prefer the nose tackle area to spend a chunk of the 12, but I think physically have to.
And we've got Hunter coming back, right?
Yes.
So I don't think you're going to do this. I don't think you're going to.
Did you have too much Chinese food for dinner?
If he's coming back, well, I'm just making sure, because I don't think you're going to. I don't think you're going to make another big investment in an edge once and if Danielle comes back.
Well, but you need someone to rush the passer.
But
now we have the draft coming up here too,
right? And you've got one. I don't think you're going to spend. I don't think you're going to spend a ton on two of those.
I can see from the interior.
Interior, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm saying edge rushers, outside linebackers, Danielle coming back, I think in their mind resolves the big payday there.
Okay. But I'm still going to mark defensive line help or edge help in some capacity, right? They're running a bunch of random guys out there. Yeah. And that's why they had to blitz 50% of their snaps last year.
This is splitting hairs, but I agree with you on defensive line help, not edge help with Hunter back.
Okay. One more thing. Since we just said goodbye to Kirk Cousins, there are a lot of sort of backup fringe starter quarterbacks out there. There's in that sort of $5 to $7 million range. There's Ryan Tannehill. There's Jacoby Brissett is a free agent. Tyrod Taylor is a free agent. Marcus Mariota. Sam Darnold is a free agent. I mean, there's a bunch of... But Drew Lock, Declan's guy,
Sign me up.
Is a free agent. Gardner Minshew is a free agent. Should we earmark $5 million for a guy that might start for you for a while?
This is why Nick is gone in my world, because I'm going to bring in one of these guys. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so we're going to go backup / like bridge QB.
Yep.
And that brings us basically to zero cap space.
We've lost an executive. Oh, we've added an executive. Oh, here comes the Vinster to chime in with his 2 cents on. Oh, look at that!
Who's a good boy?
He's like, let
Nick
me
Mullens
in.
or Drew Lock? Should we sing Young
Who's
Jeezy
a good
with
boy?
Drew Lock?
Oh, he's giving you. Oh, look at that! He's like, Dad, I love you. That's nice.
Aw. He's got takes.
Hi, Vinster.
Takes for days. So, okay. So and there's other, like, obviously there's minimum wage guys that you would bring in, like your backup offensive linemen and stuff. So what we have now is we kind of ran out of cap space there, but we added defensive line, defensive front help. We added a bridge quarterback to step in for Cousins before the draft pick starts. We're finally spending money on a guard to fix the offensive line after Kirk leaves, of course, right? But that's what happens. Hey, you get some cap space to play with. We're bringing back Powell. We're bringing back Wanham. We're bringing back Hunter. We're saying goodbye to Cousins. We're cutting Dean Lowry. We're cutting Harrison Smith. We're extending Justin Jefferson. And now, boys, let me pull this up here. It's time for the final stage here. We can kind of fly through this because I know we're running along. This is a mock draft simulation.
I want a mock.
From PFF. Okay.
I want you.
So keep in mind, like, in terms of needs here, definitely need a franchise quarterback. And then after that, I think it's kind of wide open to best position available, and we'll just kind of see how the draft falls. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
So we're gonna select the Vikings here. We're gonna be picking as the Vikings. We'll do a 7-rounder here. We can fly through this. They have a turbo setting. We'll start off on slow so we can see how this plays out. And then let's do a little more randomness. Oh no, we'll just keep the default settings here. Here we go. Okay, Judd, do you want to make a trade before the draft starts, or Declan?
Declan might, since he broached the subject before.
We can maybe
trade
move up
before
to
the
3.
draft starts.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to move up to 3? Or do you want to see? Why don't we see what happens with the first 2 picks first? Okay.
Okay.
Good call.
Okay, we're going to start the draft. Bears are on the clock. The Bears select Caleb Williams.
Okay.
The Commanders select Marvin Harrison Jr.
So we have a chance at Drake May.
Oh yeah, then you got.
So
you gotta
Drake
go.
May and Jaden Daniels are both on the clock.
Yeah.
By the way, what you could do here is, because the Patriots are probably going to take a quarterback, you could trade up to 4 instead, because the Cardinals aren't taking a quarterback. We just have to jump the Giants to get one of the other 2 quarterbacks. So what if we jumped up into that 5th spot with the Chargers and paid less?
Do you want Drake May?
I would take either one of them.
Okay.
So I would rather.
Then jump up to 5.
Okay.
Fine with that.
Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to swap the 5 and the 11. And then we would have to give up for sure probably the 42nd. It says this trade will likely be accepted.
Oh,
Okay.
Just giving them our 2nd round pick.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that's
the case.
true.
Did you turn? Is there a setting for like GM mode being turned off, like there is on Madden?
Hold on, let's look this up. Draft value chart. Well, let's go off the draft value chart just to make sure. I think PFF is a little more liberal with their trade function, just so people can do it. It's content. So to go from 11 to 5, 1250, we need to come up with 350 draft points.
Okay.
And the number 42 pick is 480.
Oh.
Well, we
So
give him a third
this
rounder.
would match with the draft.
We give him a
Should we
first and
see-
third rounder.
Should we see? No, they're not going to do that.
Okay.
So we'd have to give up. We'd have to give up,
Okay.
but we'd be getting into the 5th slot. We wouldn't have another
then
pick
give me
until
back
108.
something. 6th rounder or something.
105.
Would they kick back the 105?
I don't know. Try it.
It says they will.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Then, nice.
That doesn't seem realistic.
It's
does
like
it?
a negotiation. You don't know until you ask.
They just said yes. Why are you fighting them? Go
the
fight the Chargers.
They're idiots. Okay, we're going to offer this trade and see what happens. Trade accepted. Right. Let's go. The trade was accepted.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, resume the draft. Patriots on the clock.
I swear to God, if they go quarterback.
They select Drake May. Cardinals aren't taking a quarterback. They take Rome. How do you pronounce the Washington receiver? Rome Odunze.
Yep, Odunze.
And so now the Vikings are on the clock at 5. And obviously Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels would be our guy here, right?
Yep. Take him.
So there we go. We just drafted Jaden Daniels, new quarterback.
That was pretty painless.
For the Vikings. Let's go turbo mode and get to the. We can kind of go back and see.
It's like a Power Ranger function.
There we go. I'm curious to see where the other quarterbacks went, just for fun here. But we do have. So we have picks. We have a bunch of picks coming up here. We have 105, 108, 128, and we don't know what some of these prospects. This is where like Tyler and Miles and maybe Thor at some point. Michael Penix went 13th.
Oh, to the Raiders. That's poor Michael Penix.
And then that's the only other. So then McCarthy fell. Bo Nix went 36th. Yep. Yeah. So and then yeah. All right. Vikings on the clock here, boys. With the 105th pick.
Okay.
We got.
Don't need a tackle. Don't need a quarterback.
An electric running back would be nice.
What about that
Marshawn Nealand? Let's pull him. Can you guys see this if I pull this up? Okay.
Yep.
So according to PFF, he was one of the best. Look at this, 89.8 grade, great pass rush grade.
All right.
He wound up with 28 quarterback hurries this year for Western Michigan. All right, okay. Marshawn Nealand.
Wait. One dissenting thought. Is there a defensive tackle here who's a stud?
We have a bunch of picks coming up here. So like Michael Hall Jr. Okay. So you're looking for like an A-gap guy, right?
Yeah,
you're looking for it like a big A-gap kind of.
Yeah,
he's more of a B-gap guy. This is more of a Harrison Phillips kind of a guy.
Nope,
he's only 280 pounds.
That's redundant. No, I got to see 300 plus, and then I'll get excited.
Let's go Nealand here first. Okay. All right, now we're turboing. Now we're back on the clock. And again, we got 108. We have 128.
Bucky Irving. The former golfer, Bucky Irving.
Oh, there he is, yeah.
We don't.
I would take. Well, Declan, here's your center, dude. Cedric Van Pran from Georgia.
I would love this, yeah.
I think you got to go center here, Judley.
Get this.
And maybe address
God, you guys
defensive tackle.
How we talked about the need for fat people.
Nazir Stackhouse. I'm just trying to find. Here you go. Here's this. Dude, here's one from Georgia. Nazir Stackhouse, 6'3", 320.
I love the profile.
That's an A-gap guy right there.
I love
that's
the
guy.
Football.
Okay. What if we do this? Let's pull this back off turbo. Let's go. Let's get your guy. Let's get your interior, your beef eater here. Where is he? Nazir Stackhouse.
Yep.
And then we'll try to get a center maybe with the 128. Let's see what we got here. Okay, we got the Alabama center. I think the Georgia guy just went off the board.
He did.
Okay.
He went right after. So Declan's mad at me now, and we're
screwed up.
We're brawling.
Drake New. How about the Michigan center, man? That running game is badass.
Yeah, get that guy.
Let's get the Michigan center. Okay, boom. We just drafted the Michigan center.
There we go.
Turbo. Okay, now we're back on the clock at 148. What do we need now? We got our center, we got our quarterback, we got an edge rusher, interior. A running back would be kind of nice.
I was going to say, is there a running back?
Jaquavius Marks. We could also use more cornerback help too at some point. But this dude, I don't know. This dude just it's hard to tell. We don't watch Mississippi State football. He's the best running back available. Or we could go defense too, man. We could go we need a linebacker. We got Georgia linebacker here. We got Cedric Gray from North Carolina.
We got cornerback needs, like you said. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Cam Hart from Notre Dame. Let's see what his PFF is. Look, one of the best corners in the country.
I could get down with that.
What's his size? We need a guy who's a little bit taller, don't we? He's 6'2", 207.
Oh, look at that guy.
Oh, that profile's really well. Take him.
Let's do it. Sounds good to me. Okay. All right, now we've got back-to-back picks, 163, 164. I'm going to unilaterally just make some picks here. Cedric Gray at linebacker.
You got the controls. You go ahead and do that.
And then we probably need another safety because we keep whiffing on safeties. Who?
The Miami guy.
This guy right here?
Yeah.
Or what if we keep loading up on edges? How about this Cedric Johnson guy?
Sure.
Okay, we're gonna keep going to edges. And then probably need a receiver at some point too. But now we're into the 6th round. Here we go. Alabama halfback. We'll take that guy. And then with the 230th pick.
All right.
In the 2024 NFL draft, the Minnesota Vikings select.
Did you take a safety yet?
Safety, Texas safety guy. There we go. That guy right there.
All right,
boys. Boom. Let's see what the grade is.
Come on.
Grading your draft. Come on, one time.
A.
An A+. God,
no. That's for the trade. That's for the trade.
It.
An A+ for the draft.
Oh wow. Oh, hold on a second here. Hold on a second. We just fixed the Vikings.
A little Chinese food.
Oh, man.
Boardroom can do for these guys.
I think this is a pretty big fleecing here to move up from 11 to 5. We probably should have kicked back something else, but hey, it's PFF's algorithm, not ours.
Not ours, exactly.
So there we go. We got Jaden Daniels. So our quarterback room is Jaden Daniels, probably like Ryan Tannehill, Jacoby Brissett, or somebody. Maybe Nick Mullens, Jaron Hall. Those guys are fighting for a spot.
Tommy Kramer.
And then, Tommy Kramer. Maybe Gus Frerotte can come back.
Love Gus.
That'd be great. And we got some defensive prospects here from the
he didn't like the
round.
center as much. That's the only grade I see that's a C.
That's fine. It's okay. Drake Nugent, all he has to do is hold up that national championship trophy.
Than the DF that they have right now. So I can tell you right now, C's get degrees.
Wow.
It'll be just fine. Look at me.
Wow. Why so
there
hard
you
on
go,
Garrett
boys.
Bradbury? All right, that was awesome.
There you go, boys. All right, we just fixed the Vikings. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out with us here. We will do this exercise a few more times, but that was our first deep dive in playing front office here on Purple Daily Vikings Entertainment.